everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Josie. Today I'm going to show you some tips on cutting fabric and actually how to make a pattern from just plain paper. Saves a lot of money. And I do use other patterns for certain things, especially clothing items, but there is really no sense in you going out and spending anywhere from $8 to $15 on a pattern when they're really easy to do. Now I've kind of changed my lighting because when I have the overhead light, there's a glare, so hopefully this is going to be okay. Let me move the camera a little bit there. And I'm going to lower the camera, and what I'm going to show you, first of all, I can actually show you, I think, without actually lowering the camera, I'm going to show you how to make this pattern, which is very square. This is for a pillow. And with the leftover strip, you can use that to actually make a strip across like that or both ways. And it's simple, very easy. Okay, let me lower the camera and hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing. Okay, here's your paper. All you do is take one corner, bring it like that, press it down like that. Let's see, let's move this a little bit here. And then get your scissors. There. And then take this edge off. Okay, there's your strip. There's your pattern for your pillow. And that's simple. And it's perfectly square. Okay, now let's get to this is just copy paper. You can actually use that, say you want to make your makeup bag this size, or if you want to make it smaller, just do the same thing. Or if you have a different design, easy to do with paper. Costs you very little. There's the square one. Or what I do is use this size because I like them actually longer. I'll show you another way. And you might want to measure it. I'm just doing this quick to show you that. And then you can shorten it. You can make it any size you want. And I will do a DIY and show you how to make the bags. But I just thought these are simple tips that are really helpful. And I'll show you some tools that are really handy. Okay, you know contact paper? This is a pattern for a tote bag. You have all your little squares, so you have no problem cutting on the correct size. And then on my tote bags, let's see if I have the right one here. Okay, I put pockets on my tote bags. So there's the strip that I make the pocket with. Very simple. And I also, in a different DIY, will show you how to make those. And the reason why I'm doing this is, like I said, if you're an experienced sewer, you might be real bored with this DIY, but you know, as many years as I've sewed, I still learn new tricks. Okay, so you can use plain paper, contact paper, and go out. They actually sell, you know, white paper in rolls, like at Michael's and different places. So now I wanted to show you, I have, you can see here, a cutting board. This is a large cutting board, and I think I paid around $45 for this one. And there's measurements on both sides. It's just a different color. If you're just starting out and you don't want to spend the money or are unable to, you can buy a small one. You can get these at Walmart. Because when you use your rotary cutter, you at least want to cut it on a board. Otherwise, it'll ruin your table. So this is a plus. All these things help in your sewing. And these large rulers. I use this one more frequent than this one. But they're great for measuring. And I'm also going to show you how to cut out a pillowcase, how to use the rotary blade. I have two. I actually like this one better. And I think I bought this one, I think this one at Walmart. And I think I got this one online. I have the blade open. You always want to make sure to close it because you'll end up in ER. It really is sharp. And before I show you how to cut out a pillowcase, by the way, this is the dumpster fabric. I am going to make a makeup bag out of this. But I just wanted to show you how I cut the ends. And you know, you can do it this way. I'll show you here. You can actually do it like this. But I learned a trick by watching a video. Fold your fabric. And if you want to pin it to make sure it's in place, go ahead and do that. Okay, now with your board, you have your lines. They're all numbered. On this one, I'm not actually measuring this part. I want to make this even right here. So I'm going to get my ruler. Make sure, okay, I'm on 19 here. I want to make sure I'm on 19 on the other side so it's even. And push down hard because this material is really hard and, or I should say thick. And look at, you've got a clean cut. It took me a while to get used to the rotary cutters. On some cases I do use the scissors, but I like the clean. And now, look at, I can make a makeup bag out of it. And I will show you the results. I have so many projects going and I know I'm behind. I keep promising, but I wanted to start from the basics. Okay, now, this is going to be a pillowcase. This particular fabric, I've already made a set in this I had left over. Because normally I use like two yards. And you really have to be pretty precise. Okay, first of all, you always want to trim off the edge there. And it's on both sides. And this is about 45-inch width. Okay. Now, I'm going to pin it I don't pin it, but like I said, if you're just starting off sewing, you might want to pin it to make sure you're accurate. Okay, you've got your edges. Put it together like that. And actually, I can also do it again. Now you have to be real careful when you do this. That's why you want to pin it. But it makes it easier because you don't have the length of the fabric. Okay, what did I do with, oh, here we go. Okay, now you want to make sure. Now this I'm going to have to press really hard. And look at how simple. See how simple? And I didn't have fabric spread all the way. Okay, now on a standard size pillowcase, I cut this at 27. If you're doing a king size pillowcase, you want to cut it at 29. So I'm going to do it this way. Here's my number 1 right there. And make sure I got it straight here. Yeah. Okay. Number 1. And here is, I'm going to cut it at 27. Like I said, for a large one, and I have so much stuff in the way, but you want to see that your measurements, your numbers are the same, so you're not crooked. So it's 27 on both ends of my board. So I'm going to, whoops, it is, my cutter is not cooperating. Let's try this other one. Probably with this fabric, I should not have done that, but that didn't come out smooth. So if you have an area that doesn't cut, just get your scissors and trim it off. There. I need to change my blade, is what the problem was with that. But there, I have my 27. It's all ready to go. Now, what makes the proper length is I'm cutting a trim, and I should have brought a finished pillowcase and show you. But I also add, I cut 9 inches and then it's folded in half. And so it makes it 4.5 inches. So your pillowcase length is going to be about 31 inches. Now I picked, I don't know if the lighting is good enough, but that, I think when I made this before, I put this color, and you could also use, it's kind of an off-white. Now, you want to make sure on your trimming fabric that it's the same width. I measured this ahead, it's 45 inches. So before we cut our trim, I want to trim the edge and make sure it's even. And hopefully my blade behaves itself. And, you know, don't get frustrated. Things like that will happen. And that's one thing when people first start sewing. They also, now it cut great that time. See how straight. Sometimes, you know, when things aren't perfect when you first start, you just want to give up. You don't. Okay, I'm going to start on this side. And I put it on my one. Now I want 9 inches. Okay, here's my 9. Make sure it's 9 all the way. Okay. And one little string there. Okay, there's my 9-inch wide. Then I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, and then I will just finger press to show you. And I will actually do a DIY and show you with my sewing machine how I sew this together. And it's called, the system I use is called the burrito system. And kind of a funny name actually for this, but okay, there's your edging, and it's going to go, I love making these. I think they're absolutely simple and fun. Okay, so when you get through, you're going to have your edge. And your pillowcase is going to be, like I said, about 31 inches, which will be the proper size. And I try to get, you know, fabric for the edge piece, for the binding there. It's actually not binding. But, you know, something that really is attractive, that looks good together. But I know this set I made before out of this fabric was really attractive. It was really pretty, and I actually sold that set. Okay, and I wanted to show you, I was going to cut this out, but I didn't have the right brown. Look at that fabric, isn't that fantastic? It's all the candies, Sugar Babies, Sorted Charms, Dots, Junior Mints, all of these. And I think I only have a little over a yard, so I'm only going to be able to make one out of this. But normally when I buy fabric, I buy 2 yards. Because for a set of pillowcases, it takes 1 3/4 yards. But I always like the extra, sometimes too. Sometimes, you know, with the pattern, and if you want the pattern to go a certain way, you need extra fabric. So I think the next DIY with sewing, I will show you how to put a pair of pillowcases together. And then I will show you how to make makeup bags. They're not hard, and you don't have to worry about them being perfect. They become perfect after you do a few of them. So, and on my seams, on my pillowcases, I make what's called a French seam. And I will show you what a French seam is. You actually cannot see the raw edges inside. Your seams are enclosed. I love that. There's no fabric that's like pulling apart, or it makes a really clean fabric. So what I wanted to do this for, to show you that anyone can do this. If you just relax, don't worry about perfection. If you have an idea, get some paper and draw it out. Measure. This is the easy way. I didn't have to measure, but on a lot of my projects, I do measure and then cut. You can just draw it out. And once you cut it, say if you don't want your markings, you can recut it. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments, put them down in the comment section. I hope I gave you a few ideas to what I do. And remember, you can go down to the Dollar Tree and buy contact paper. And to me, my allergies, my eyes are dripping. Excuse me. You can draw anything you want, and you've got your measurements, so you're going to be accurate. And if you don't have to, by the way, you don't have to have a rotary cutter. When I'm cutting out quilt blocks, I actually rather use the scissors. You just need a really sharp pair of scissors. It takes a while getting used to the rotary cutter, but for things like evening out your fabric and pillowcases, table runners, makeup bags, and that kind of thing, it's easier, faster, and a more smooth edge using your rotary cutter. And remember, you don't need a large, I didn't have a cutting board this size for many, many years. I actually bought this one, I think 2 years ago. And you can just buy your things gradually. You don't have to go down and spend a lot of money and purchase all of the supplies at one time. In fact, I suggest that you don't until you're sure you really want to actually continue sewing. But I think it's great, especially making gifts. Like, it's not that many months before Christmas. And sewing, you can use, like I said before, dumpster fabric. You go to Goodwill or Savers and buy old clothes, or if you have clothes laying around that don't fit anymore, just cut them up and you can be amazed. You can make memory bears, which look online, there's some adorable ones. So I'm going to close this now, and like I said, hopefully it was helpful and inspire you to maybe sew. To me, I can sit down at the sewing machine and I can tune out the world and get rid of all my stress. So anyway, be safe. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.